How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Nun Beis, Daf 52 of Masechta BavaMetzia. Friends, your friends. So today, yesterday we were talking about, I think the day before Oichit, we were talking about Ona. My understanding is that we're going to be talking about Ona until the end of the Perek, I think, maybe? I don't know. I think the article said it was going to, I see that there's some more in Ona stuff coming up. Anyways, we're still talking about Ona, Lemaise. We're talking about Ona with like coins. Basically so we talked about overcharging for like merchandise or whatever. What if you have a coin? Let's say you have like a quarter. Quarter is 25 cents, but it gets worn down. And now the silver content is like less, and whatever the value of the coin is actually not worth what it was originally. It's worth less. It's gotten worn out over time. So at what point is this coin is simply just not worth what it's supposed to be worth. Oh, okay, I got to keep that in mind. Right. All right. All right. Right. Okay, got to keep that in mind. All right, where are we? Okay, so that's right. Okay, so where are we? Oh, Givaldik. So we're at the Mishnah. We're talking at the Mishnah and Daf Nun Aleph Amud Beis. 4 lines from the bottom. Says the Mishnah. Kamate aselo chasera velo yeheba onoya. So if you have this coin and the coin's getting worn out, so after how much wearing out do we already have to be concerned about Ona? I mean, importantly, the Gemara is going to be medayik and the lashon of the Mishnah, right? Kamate asel chaser velo yeheba Ona. Sort of what's the max Ona there could be, and there still would not be an issue of Ona that the coin is being purported to be more valuable than it actually is. So I'll tell you outside. This is a 3-way machlokas. Reb Meir, Reb Yehuda, and Reb Shimon. Reb Meir says 1/24. Reb Yehuda says 1/12, and Reb Shimon says 1/6. Okay. So Reb Meir says Reb Meir. Arba isaros isur ledinar. Okay, so 4. You see, that's why I just told you outside first. It's 1/24, 1/12, and 1/6. But basically, it's 2 isurs in a pundion, 2 pundions in a ma'ah, 6 ma'ah in a dinar, 2 dinar in a shekel, 2 shekel in a sela, which Betzim means that there are 96 isers in one sela. So 4 isers per sela is 96 divided by 4, which is 24. So it's 1/24. And also, since there are so we said 4 isers per sela, but there's also 4 dinars in a sela. So 4 dinars in a sela, if you divide 4 dinars in 4, so 1 dinar would be 1 iser, right? Meaning if it's 4 isers per sela and it's 4 dinars in a sela, so 1 dinar would be a quarter of the number of dinars and also a quarter of the number of isers. So 1 iser per dinar or 4 isers per sela, if that makes sense. Well, it does make sense if you get it, if you understand it. So Remer Omer Arba Isar, so basically 4 isers per sela, isar ledinar, or in other words, 1 iser per dinar, because after all there are 4 dinars in a sela. So anyways, so 1/24. Reb Yehuda Omer Arba pundionos, pundion ledinar. Okay, so Reb Yehuda says the same thing, but in terms of pundions, and a pundion is twice as much as a dinar. So be'etzem, it's 1/12. And Reb Shimon Omer shmona pundionos, shnei pundion ledinar, twice as much as that, which is 1/6. Okay, so 1/24, 1/12, and 1/6. Fine. Ad mosai, and then until when muter lehachzir, until when so if you received such a coin, what's the window that you have to be able to return it? To get a different, to say, hey, I don't want this coin. So if you live in a city well, in the city there are money changers, so the amount of time that it takes to run to a money changer to find out if this coin is no good. Bikfar, but in the villages where there aren't money changers around, ad Arve Shabbosis until Erev Shabbos, right? So meaning an Erev Shabbos, when you do your shopping for Shabbos, so then you'll have an opportunity to spend this coin, and if there's an issue with it, you'll be told by the storekeeper. So in the villages, you have until then. Imhoya Makira, okay, I think I was going to ask about this, but Imhoya Makira, if he recognized it, I guess the person who gave the coin initially, if he recognized the coin, so you'd have to receive it even a year later. And he might be, he might huff and puff a little bit, but okay, what can I tell you? If it's a no good coin, it's a no good coin. And a person who has such a coin, it's going to be really the subject of tomorrow's daf. But a person who has such a coin can use it for Meiser Sheni ve'enu choshesh, and it's no problem. You can use this coin for, if you want to be machal Meiser Sheni onto this coin. She'enu ela nefesh ra, because only people have a shtickle shmendrik in their soul, so they wouldn't accept these coins. Okay, kind of technical Mishnah. Says the Gemara, now kind of technical Gemara. Viramini, we have a contradiction. Ad kamate asela chaser v'yiyeba ona'a. And the one in our Mishnah, as I pointed out, says that how much degradation, how deterioration, maybe, how much deterioration of the coin would there be, and there would still not yet be ona'a. And we say 1/24th, 1/12th, 1/6th. But now we're saying how much deterioration would there be, and there would be ona'a, 1/24th, 1/12th, 1/6th. So is 1/12th, are these cutoffs ona'a or not? Amar Papa says, a Papa Lokasha, it's no question. Tanadidan, okay, I think this is kind of weird, this next Mishnah, this next line or two. But I think the point is that they're both saying the same thing, Be'etzim. So Tanadidan kochoshev mimata l'mayla, our Mishnah is talking about from less erosion to more erosion. Okay, Tanabara kochoshev milamala lamata, but the other Brisa is talking about from more erosion to less erosion in the Brisa. Period. But I think both of them agree though that once it hits that point, then I can't remember. Then it would be ona at that point. I don't know. I can't really remember. What does Rashi say? Amar Papa la'olam emelach bahani shiurei havya ona. So these shiurim would be ona. One of them is talking from less deterioration to more deterioration. The other one is talking about from more deterioration to less deterioration. Somehow they're both saying the same thing, I think. Okay. That at these points, then it would be ona. So ma'ishna b'sela de plige, u'ma'ishna b'talis lo plige. How come when it comes to the coins, we see a three-way machlokes? Is it ona already at 1/24th, maybe just 1/12th, maybe only a 6th? And yet, when it came to the, a talis, or basically any other item that that we've been discussing up until now, so there's no machlokes, it's the 6th, right? Although I guess we saw that there was either a 6th or a 3rd, but we didn't have Reb Meir and Reb Yehuda saying a 24th, a 12th. It's just, it's best in the Chacham say it's a 6th. So Amarava says, Rave, Man Tana Talis Reb Shimon he. Who's the one who says in the other Mishnah that we're talking about a 6th by the Talis? Reb Shimon. But you know what? Reb Meir and Reb Yehuda would argue there as well. Abaye Amar says, Abaye Talis ad shtus mochil inish. Abaye says, no, it's actually different. No, there's an inherent difference between a garment versus a coin. That by a garment it's 1/6 versus a coin, Reb Meir would say it's 1/24th. How come? What's the difference? Because people are more lenient or have more leeway, more wiggle room when it comes to a garment. Right? Abaye Amar Talis, that when it comes to a garment, ad shtus machil inish, a person is willing to kind of, say it's all right, I'll pay a little bit extra up to a 6th. The Ami Inshek is the people say, Oshek ligabech, spend a little bit more when it comes to the clothing that you put on your back, but don't pay too much when it comes to, food, having to buy food. But when it comes to a coin, a coin already, if it's kind of losing value, then already at the 24th, according to Rav Meir, this is not something that people are gonna pay extra for. It's like, no, if this coin is deficient, it's deficient. I don't want it. But that's not the case. By a garment, people are kind of more forgiving when it comes to ono on a garment. All right, so there's an inherent difference according to Abai between a garment and a coin. People are less wiggly when it comes to a coin. Gufo, we said earlier, ad kamate asela chasera v'yehei ba ono. So how much would the coin be lacking, and then there would be ono? Reb Meir Omer says, Reb Meir abba asiros iser lediner. So Reb Meir had said 1/24. Reb Yehuda Omer dal pundionos pundion lediner. Reb Yehuda had say 1/12. Reb Shimon Omer says, Reb Shimon shmone pundionos 8 pundios shnei pundionos pundion lediner 1/6. Yasser al kain. Now, if it's more than that, mochra be shiv ya. Okay, and if it is more than that, then you have to. Right, I believe that means that if it is even more. 1 second. Okay, so Rashi says Yasser al kain mochra be shiv ya lekami meforish la yisera al kain shelo. That if it is not yet the point of ona. So basically, if it hasn't reached this point of like a 6th or a 12th or a 24th, so then you can use it at face value, at whatever denomination is purported to be. How deteriorated can it get, and you can still hold on to it? Besela ad shekel. A sela until a shekel. Now there are 2 shekels in a sela, so until it deteriorates to 50% of its value, you can hold on to it. After that, you cannot. B'dinar ad rova, and by a dinar until a quarter. The question is, why by a sela is it half, and by a dinar it's a quarter? Okay. Pochus mikain iser, and if it's any less than this, even just an iser, also, then you can't hold on to it. Harezeh loyim karenu lo letager. Don't sell it to a merchant, v'lo l'charam, I think maybe like a shmendrik, v'lo l'harag, and not a murderer. Don't sell these coins to murderers, because they're going to use it to exploit the other people and to trick other people. Eli kavena, pierce it, put a hole in it, and hang it from your son or your daughter's neck. That's what you should do with those coins that are too eroded. Amar b'sela ad shekel. B'dinar ad rova. We had just said that when it comes to a sela, so if it deteriorates to half its value, b'dinar ad rova, but by a dinar until a quarter of its value. Ma'ishna b'sela ad shekel, ma'ishna b'dinar ad rova. How come by a sela we're talking about deteriorating to half its value, and by a dinar we're talking about deteriorating all the way down to a quarter of its value? Amar Abaye, my rova de katani nami rova shekel. So it says Abaye, no, when it says rova by a dinar, it means a quarter of a shekel. A quarter of a shekel is half a dinar, right? There are 2 dinars in a shekel, so a quarter of a shekel is half a dinar. So meaning a dinar that deteriorates to half a dinar. Amar Rava says Rava dekanami. You can also infer this dekatani rova v'lo katani revia, that it says a quarter and not a fourth. Meaning, I think the point is that rova means rova of something else. Rova shekel in this case. Shema mina. Lomale l'misalye l'dinar b'shekel. Now, why though are we talking about a dinar relative to a shekel? Why not just say like half a dinar? So Milsa Gav Orche Kamashmalan is teaching us another thing along the way. Deika dinar de'osi mi shekel. That there is a dinar that comes from a shekel. I don't really remember what that means. Let's see. De'osi mi shekel. Impiches a shekel al chetzio v'nas a dinar. Okay, that if a shekel reduces to half its value and it becomes a dinar, so then you won't be able to keep it around. Okay, so I guess a dinar that becomes half its value, and a shekel becomes half its value, and a selah that becomes half its value. Alright. Misele Rabbi Ami, that this supports Rabbi Ami. Dam Rabbi Ami dinar abami shekel mutter lekaimo, dinar abba misela also lekaimo. Okay, that a dinar that comes from a shekel, so half a shekel, you could still hold on to it, because only if it's less than that is it a problem. Dinar abba misela, but a dinar from a sela, which is a quarter of a sela, also lekaimo, you can't hold on to it. Okay. Pachas mikein aser. Okay, if it's less than this, pachas mikein iser aser. If it's less than this, even in iser, then it's aser. Maika Omar, what's it saying? Omar Abai says, Abai Yochikam, this is what it's saying. Pachas asela yoser michdei ona iser. That if a sela becomes more deteriorated than the ona level, even just by one iser, aser, then it's not allowed. Okay, I guess you can't use it at like its face value anymore, I guess. Okay. Fine. Okay. Amalei, Rava says, Rava, Iachi, if so, afilu mashu nami. Well, then why are we saying if it's less than, if it's even more deteriorated by one iser, say by any amount? So, Ella Amar Rava, rather says, Rava, pachas asela iser ledinar Aser v'stama k'rameir. Says Rava that if a sela deteriorates by an iser ledinar, which is 1/24th, aser v'stama k'rameir, which is then basically the opinion of Reb Meir. Tananasim we learned over there in Kalim. Sela shenifsela. Okay, so if you have a sela that became possible, v'eskina she'eshokel b'mishkalos, and so you say, okay, well this sela is no longer a sela, so let me use it for a scale, for a weight. Tamea, well then it's muksher l'kavotum because it's a kli. Ad kamati pachos ve'irasha l'kaima. How much can it deteriorate and you can still hold on to it? L'sela shnei dinarim. So a sela until it becomes 2 dinars. 2 dinars is a shekel till it's half of its half of its value. Pachos mikain. But if it's even more deteriorated than that, yikots, then you have to you destroy it. Yaser al kain mai. What if it is more than that? I guess more than the more than half of its value. So Amar Rav Huna pachos mikein yikots yaser al kein yikots. When it's less than half its value, you have to destroy it. When it's more than half its value, you also have to destroy it. Okay. Rabami Amar pachos mikein yikots yaser al kein yikayim. Rabami says no. If it's more than half deteriorated, so if it's deteriorated to more than half, so then you have to destroy it. But if it's meaning if it's it's less than half of its value, you have to destroy it. But if it's more than half of its value, so meaning it's still worth more than half of its value, so then you can hold on to it. Meisei Rav Akasha and Rav Huna, Yoser al Kain, Mochor b'shivya, that if its value is still more than 50% of its value, you could still sell it, at its current value. So my lav shepachasa Yoser mikain michdei ona asa. So doesn't that mean that if it is more than the level of ona'ah, but it's complicated. What's more and what's less? Everything is so relative. But meaning, that it is more deteriorated than ona'ah. So it's past the deterioration levels of ona'ah, but not as deteriorated as 50%. And we're saying that you can sell it at its current value. So my lab shepachso yosem michdei lo yisera. Where am I? Michdei asa lo yisera de akati lo pachasa bichdei asa mocher b'shivya. No, it's saying that if it is not yet at ona'ah levels, then you can sell it at face value. You don't have to sell it at current value, but at face value. Meis we have a kasha ad kamati pachis v'irasha lekaima. How deteriorated must it be, and you can still hold on to it? Besela ad shekel. When it comes to sela, until half of its value is shekel. My lab de pachis purta purta. So we see it meaning if it's sort of deteriorating over time, you can continue to hold on to it until it gets to half its value. So it's a kasha and Rav Huna who says that you'd have to destroy it even when it is still retains more than half of its value. No, it's talking about where it fell in a fire and became half of its value immediately. And at that point, we're saying, and that's why we're saying that you have to get rid of it immediately. But Rav Huna would say even if it goes little by little, even if it's more than half of its value, you would still have to get rid of it. I guess once it's past the threshold of ona'ah. Sorry, this is like super technical and unclear what's more and what's less of what. We said that if it becomes, I think, more deteriorated, then meaning, oh God, this is so confusing. What's more and what's less? Like it's more deteriorated, so it's less than its value. So it's not more than its value, it's less than its value, but it's more deteriorated. More deteriorated is less its value. Less deteriorated is more of its value. Whatever. So I guess when it gets like super deteriorated, you just gotta like put a hole in it and then use it. You put it around your son or your daughter's neck. We have a contradiction. I said a mishkal, so you should not use it as a weight for your weights. And don't throw it among your grutoses, broken vessels, I guess. And don't put a hole in it and tie it around your son or your daughter's neck. Ella, yishchok, grind it up. Yitoch, do some other destructive thing to it. Yikots, or do some other, and destroy it. Take it to the Dead Sea. That's always a good thing to do. Amr Balaz says, Well, it depends how you're puncturing it. If you're puncturing it, right in the middle, so that's mamash a puncture, that's gewaldig. But if you're going to puncture from the side, so then you're better off taking it to the Dead Sea or whatever. So we said that in the cities, so to return a coin, you only have the amount of time, a window to like get to a money changer to check out the coin. In the villages, you have until Erev Shabbos. Ma'ishno besela de maflig u'ma'ishno betalis deloy maflig. How come when it comes to a coin, we distinguish between if you're in a city or if you're in a village, and yet when it came to the talis, we just said the amount of time that it takes to get to a merchant or to a relative. It's only one window. It doesn't matter if you're in a city or in a village. Abai says, so you know what? When we talked about the talis, the amount of time it takes to go to a merchant or to a relative, that's also talking about in a city. But in a village, it would be a different window. Okay. What would that window be? I guess it would be longer. Okay. Erev Shabbos makes sense for coins because then you're going to spend the coins. What would be the alternate window for a talis? I don't know, but longer, I guess. Tanan, where am I? No, so now we're seeing talis b'krachin Tanan. Rava Omer says, Rava talis kol inish kimle begava sela kaven de lav kol inish kimle begava el shulchani hilkach b'krachim diikol shulchani ad sheyar l'shulchani b'kfarim dilekol shulchani ad avish shabasus tisakin l'shukah. Look, knowing the value of a coin is more of a specialty than knowing the quality of a garment, right? People, it's more common for somebody to be able to tell you, if you overpaid for a garment or something like that, than to know if you, than to know if your coin is exactly the right weight or how much, how off it is or whatever. So that's more of a specialty. Because it's a specialty, we have to make sure that you have access to the right people. Therefore, we say, look, if you're in a city, I know that you'll have access to the right people. If you're in a village, then not, then you wait till Friday. But there's no need for a distinction when it comes to a talis, because people everywhere, you're going to be able to find somebody who can make that distinction for you. So again, Rava Omer says, Rava, talis kol inish kimle begava. When it comes to a garment, it's easier to find people who could tell you whether you're in a city or in a village. Sell up, when it comes to a coin, came to lav kol inish kimle begava. Since when it comes to a coin, not everybody's an expert. El shulchani, you have to go to an expert. You have to go to a money changer. Hilkach bekrachim deika shulchani. So in a city where there are money changers available, so achayar the shulchani. So then the windows and the amount of time it takes to go to the local money changer. But in villages, the leka shulchani, where there is no money changer, ad arvi shabbos is the sak and the shukah. So then wait until Friday when you go to the market and go to use the coin and see if anybody gives you any trouble. And if the person who initially gave the coin recognized it, so then even a year later he would have to take it back. What are we talking about? If we're talking about in a city, we said in a city we're talking about until it goes to the amount of time it takes to go to the money changer. If we're talking about a village, in villages, Ha'omart arar v'shabbosus. We said until Erev Shabbos. So what's this 12-month thing all of a sudden? Amar v'chizda midas chassidus shanukan. Chizda said if he's a chutzit, if he's a pious fellow, so then even he would accept it even a year later. But But it says, and all the this guy can do is huff and puff, right? Meaning, if the person can return the coin even 12 months later, and he has to accept it, and all he could do is huff and puff. But ila chosid, if we're talking about a chosid, lo kabel kabla mine, v'lo tarum mista'avele. If he's a chosid, then better, it would be better for him just not to accept it in return, and then and not huff and puff, not be burgers. Where am I? So okay, ve'ela le'ha'eich de kibla mine. Rather, it's talking about the exactly. Rather, it's talking about the person who returned it. But I don't understand. If the person is successfully returning it, so what's there to be bragging about? So but if we're not talking about a chosid who's going to accept it, so even though this guy won't accept it after 12 months because he's not a chosid, so ein lo olav ela tarum is still the guy is stuck with this coin, and look, he can huff and puff, he can be braggis, but if the person who gave it to him is not a chosid, then he's not going to accept it from 12 months later. That was daf Nun Beis of Masechta BavaMetzia. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.